Hi everyone, today I am going to teach about scales in fishes. So in this topic we will go through the following objectives: scales definition, introduction, size and shape of scales, types of scales based on origin, types of scales based on structure, modifications and variations of scales, and finally uses of scales. So these are the topics that we will go through. So let us go for scales definition. The scales are small, thin, cornified, calcareous or bony plates which fit closely together or overlap. The arrangement of the scales on fish body is concerned. They are most often indicated and thus overlap like shingles on the roof, with their free margins directed towards the tail so as to minimize the friction of water. So the study of scales is called as squamatology. So let us go through the introduction. In many vertebrates, the exoskeleton covering of the body, it is made up of two types of scales. They are the epidermal scales and the second one is dermal scales. If you see the epidermal scales, they are cornified derivatives of the Malpighian layer of epidermis. They are well developed in terrestrial vertebrates such as reptiles, birds and mammals. If you see the dermal scales, they are mesodermal in origin and they are especially developed in fishes. So epidermal scales, they are cornified derivatives of the Malpighian layer of epidermis and it is seen in reptiles, birds and mammals. Whereas the dermal scales, if you see that, they are mesodermal in origin and especially these dermal scales are seen in fishes. So if you see the size and shape of the scales in fishes, the scales vary in size and shape in different species. So the body of all the fishes, if it is covered by scales. In family Siluridae and a few bottom dwellers where the scales are completely absent. The scales are usually found covering entire body surface, but in some fishes such as chimeras, Poliodon and Echinopsis, the scales are present in localized regions or areas of the body. So the primitive fossil fishes of Silurian and Devonian periods possess exoskeleton in the form of plates and scales which consist of three distinct layers. The innermost layer consists of compact bone that is called as isopedene. The intermediate or middle layer which is spongy vascular in nature, and the outermost layer it is called as dentine. So these are the size and shape of the scales. It is different in different species, and here in Siluridae and few bottom dwellers the scales are completely absent. The scales may be localized in Chimeras, Poliodon and Echinopsis. In primitive fossil fishes during Silurian and Devonian period, we can see which is in the form of plates and scales that consist of three layers. Innermost layer we can call them as isopedene. The middle layer it is spongy layer and the outermost layer is the dentine. So let us see the different types of scales based on origin. According to mode of their origin, there are two types of scales. They are the placoid scales and the second one is non-placoid scales. If you see the placoid scales, they are formed due to the secretory activity of both epidermis and dermis. That means they are originated by the secretory action of the cells from the epidermis as well as dermis. Example, the scales which are seen in elasmobranch fishes. Non-placoid scales, if you see that, they are derived from the dermis only as the scales of the teleost fishes. Only we can see this type of scales in teleost fishes. So in elasmobranch fishes we can see the placoid scales which are derived from both epidermis and dermis, whereas non-placoid scales, if you see that, they are mainly derived from the dermis and it is seen in the scales of teleost fishes. So this is the types of scales based on mode of origin. So based on structure, what are the different types of scales we will go through here. So based on structure, the scales are classified into 4 types. They are cosmoid scales, ganoid or rhomboid scales, placoid scales, cycloid scales, and ctenoid scales. If you see the last 2 scales, they are cycloid and ctenoid scales. They are also called as bony ridge scales. So cycloid and ctenoid scales, they are also called as bony ridge scales. So here in fishes, we can see 4 types of scales based on structure. They are the cosmoid scales, ganoid or rhomboid scales, placoid, cycloid and ctenoid scales. So let us go through the first type of scale, that is cosmoid scales. The cosmoid scales are found in the extinct Crossopterygi and Dipnoi fishes. So the external layer of the scale, if you see that, it is thin and enamel-like, and it is called as vitrodentine. The middle layer, if you see that, it is made up of hard non-cellular dentine-like material that is called as cosmin. So due to presence of this cosmin material, the scales are called as cosmoid scales, and contains a number of branching tubules and chambers. The innermost layer, if you see that, it is made up of vascularized bony substance, and it is called as isopidine. So these scales, they will grow by the addition of new isopidine material from below along the ridges. So cosmoid scales are not found in the living fishes. The living Dipnoi possess thin cycloid scales and have lost the cosmin layer. So this is regarding cosmoid scales, which are seen in extinct Crossopterygi and Dipnoi fishes. Here it is having 3 layers. The outermost layer, if you see that, it is thin and enamel-like, and it is called as vitrodentine. The middle layer, it is made up of hard non-cellular dentine-like material that is called as cosmin. Due to presence of this cosmin only, the scales are called as cosmoid scales. The innermost layer, if you see that, it is made up of vascularized bony substance that is called as isopidine. So the scales, they will grow by the addition of new isopidine material from below along the edges. So here cosmoid scales are not found in the living fishes, but the living Dipnoi possess thin cycloid scales, and they have lost this cosmin layer. So second one, that is ganoid scales. The scales are characteristic feature of primitive actinopterygian fishes. That's why they are called as ganoid fishes, and are various forms and structure. So if you see the ganoid scales, they are heavy and have an outer layer of hard inorganic enamel-like material that is called as ganoin. Due to presence of this ganoin, these scales are called as ganoid scales. The middle layer is cosmin that contains numerous branching tubules. The innermost layer is thickest, and it is made up of lamellar bone that is called as isopidine. So these scales, they will grow by the addition of new layers to the lower as well as the upper surface. So these scales are usually rhomboid in shape and articulate by peg and socket joints. The ganoid scales, they are best developed in the chondrosteans, that is Polypterus and Echinoptera, and holosteans, that is Lepidosteius, so that they are often called as ganoid fishes. In Echinoptera, they are in the form of large isolated bony scutes and are present in 5 longitudinal rows at places where there is a greater wear and tear. In Lepidosteius, the scales are hard, polished, rhombic plates fitting edge to edge, thus forming a complete armor. So the scales of the fish have lost the middle plasmin layer, thus reducing their thickness and rigidity. The scales of Amia are even thinner and it does not possess the ganoid layer, and typically it will resemble the cycloid scales. So this is the ganoid scale. Let us go for the third type of scales, that is placoid scales. So these scales are characteristic features of elasmobranch fishes like sharks only. Each scale, if you see that, it is having tridentine structure, like just if you see that each scale has disc-like basal plate which is embedded in the epidermis and trident spine that is projecting outside through the epidermis. So in structure, a placoid scale, it will resemble a tooth-like structure. The spine has an external covering of enamel-like and hard transparent material that is called as vitrodentine is present. So this is followed by a layer of dentine which is enclosing the pulp cavity, from which several branching dentine tubules it will radiate in different directions. The center of the basal plate is perforated by an aperture to provide the entrance to the blood vessels and nerves from the dermis. The placoid scales are closely set in skin but do not overlap each other and giving a sandpaper-like quality to the skin. So this is the structure of the placoid scale. This diagram, this is the dorsal view. This is the ventral view of the placoid scale. Here we can see the basal plate which is in the rhomboidal in structure, that is embedded in the dermis. And here this is the trident spine which will be exposed part. And here this tridentine spine, at the middle it possesses the median spine. On either side of the median spine we can see the lateral spine. At the base of the placoid scale we can see an opening through which the blood vessels will enter into this placoid scale. And here we can see the pulp cavity also. So here the placoid scale, it resembles the structure of a tooth which is having enamel, dentine structures. The fourth type scales, they are the cycloid scales. The cycloid scales are thin, flexible, translucent plates, rather circular in outline, thicker in the center and marked with several concentric lines of growth which can be used for determining the age of the fish. So here they are found in large numbers of the teleostean fishes having soft red fins such as labia, cutla, barbus, sirhina, etc. So the central part of the scale is called as focus and is the first part to develop. In many species, oblique grooves or radii run from the focus towards the margin of the scale. And they form a protective covering over the skin and project diagonally in an imbricating pattern. The part of the scale which is exposed to view, that is in situ condition, generally shows less distinct ridges or circuli, and chromatophores are also sometimes attached to it. So the anterior areas lies embedded in the skin. So this is the cycloid scale where we can see the continuous ring-like structure. Just you can see here concentric lines of the growth will be there which will determine the age of the fishes. At the central point of this scale we can call them as the focus. Let us go for ctenoid scales. The ctenoid scales are also circular in shape and can be distinguished from the cycloid scales by having a more or less serrated free edges. And here, moreover, several spines are present on the surface of the posterior area of the scales. So these scales are characteristic feature of modern higher teleostean fishes such as perch, sunfish, etc. So they are more firmly attached and their exposed free hind parts, which are not overlapped, bears numerous comb-like teeth or spine-like structures. And intermediate types between, that means these scales are intermediate between the cycloid and ctenoid scales and are also found on different parts of the body. Certain fishes such as flounders may appear or they may have both the types, that is ctenoid scales dorsally. On the ventral side we can see the cycloid scales. So here this is related to that of the ctenoid scales. Structurally it may resemble the cycloid scales, which is having all concentric ring-likes that determines the age, and the central point we can call them as a focus. Beside this, here it may possess serrate structures, and along with this, these serrate structures may having comb-like structures that are called as teeth or spines. By these structures only we can distinguish the cycloid scales from that of the ctenoid scales. So let us go for modifications and variations of scales. Some fishes are totally scaleless or naked. That means scales are completely absent. Example, torpedo, electric ray and catfishes, as well as the fishes that are belonging to Siluridae family. The scales are minute and deeply embedded in dermis in eels. They may be localized in chimeras. Jaw teeth in sharks, they are regarded as modified scales. The teeth forming the saw of Pristis and the stingray are the modifications of the scales. So these are modifications and variations of the scales. They may be completely absent. The scales are completely absent in torpedo and catfishes. It may be minute and deeply embedded in the skin, or in dermis in eels. They may be localized. That means only in certain regions only we can see the scales. Example, chimeras. Jaw teeth like in shark, they are regarded as modified scales. The teeth forming the saw of Pristis and the stingrays are nothing but they are the modification of the scales. So the scales at the base of the tail in the sturgeon fish and Acanthurus are modified to form sharp cutting blade-like structures. In cofferfish, Ostraceon, the scales form polygonal bony plates articulating with one another to form rigid protective box-like structure. In the globefish, that is Tetrodon, and the porcupine fish, Diodon, the scales are elongated to form spines for protection. The jointed fin rays, Leptotrichia, of the bony fishes are also considered to be the modified scales. In the basking shark, Citorhinus, the scales become modified to form gill-racker structures. The scales along the lateral line of the fish become perforated to provide an exit for the canal. In the seahorse, that is Hippocampus, and in the pipefish, Syngnathus, the scales are fused to form protective bony rings around the body. So let us see the uses of scales. The scales, they will form a protective covering of the exoskeleton on the body. So the structure of the scales is useful in broad classification of the group. Thus, Among the fishes, the placoid scales are the characteristic feature of chondrichthyes. Ganoid scales are found in primitive bony fishes, while the cycloid and ctenoid scales are found in higher teleost fishes. Sometimes the scales are also useful in separating the orders and families of the class Pisces. Thus, the coeluroid fishes are scaleless and can be distinguished from cyprinoids. So here scales form an important source of information about fossil fishes and in classifying the kitchen-middens of extinct men. So the scales are useful in studying the food habits of piscivorous animals. Piscivorous animals means which will eat the fish as a food, that are called as piscivorous animals. In taxonomic work, several species are identified by counting the scales along the lateral line and round the body. So these are the uses of the scales. Let us see some more uses of the scales. The cycloid and ctenoid scales are considerable help in calculating the age and growth rate of fishes, as the growth rings that are in the form of circular ring-like structures that mainly helpful to calculate the age of the fish. So many species undergo seasonal growth, which is apparent from the lines of the growth on the scales. In some species like salmon, spawning marks can be seen on the scales, so that it is possible to find how many times a fish has spawned. So scales, they will grow throughout the life in size with the fish. Growth results in concentric lines which make age determination possible in salmon, trouts, bass and several other species. For every species, its scale pattern is rather constant. So thus, the arrangement, number, form and structure of the scales play an important role in identification and classification of fish species. So these are the use of the scales. Thank you. Hope you understood this topic. Stay home, stay safe. If you like my video, please subscribe my channel.